May not be fair, but I'm just telling you what the polls show. Many Americans think that the vice president is a little bit of a ding-dong, that she's not serious.
This ding-dong, Senator, has risen in the polls. And
that right there was Republican Senator John Kennedy during his Fox News interview today, moments before it all went south, moments before he exploded on national television after being confronted for his unjust attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris. During this interview, he was asked about VP Harris, her being the Democratic nominee, his support for Donald Trump, and instead of engaging in a productive conversation, saying, well, here is VP Harris's policy, and I disagree because of X, Y, and Z. Instead of doing that, he resorted to childish insults, playground insults you heard back in middle school. And then he talked about her race and her gender. I mean, right there, he called her a ding-dong, whatever that means. I mean, seriously, the Republicans are in a bit of a pickle right now. They haven't figured out how to attack Vice President Kamala Harris. They don't know how to effectively say, here's why you should vote for Donald Trump and not VP Harris. There's not really an effective way to say that. It's like an impossible task, but they haven't figured it out. They haven't put the pieces of the puzzle together. So instead, they've resorted to childish insults, bringing up her race or gender. They've played back into their worst instincts, bringing up these really disgusting things about Kamala Harris, saying this or that, whatever. It's very much backfiring on the Republicans right now. And attacks like this, calling her a ding-dong, are not resonating with any Americans. It's showing the Americans why the Republicans should not be in office, should not be anywhere near the Oval Office, the Senate, the House, or any legislator across the country because of stuff like this. They're just not good people. And they can't have that conversation. They can't be adults. It's always the Democrats who are the adults in the room. And that's just one clip. The next clip I want to show you that really kind of hammers this home of him just like freaking out, him just losing it after being confronted, is the Fox News host basically saying, well, hey, do you really think that going after her race, her gender, or personal insults are an effective way to counteract Kamala Harris and her movement? And the senator just had no idea what to say. He's playing on the back foot here. So just take a look at that clip as well.
I'm just wondering, do you worry how that comes across? And maybe you draw no distinction between a female candidate and a male one, then that's fair game. But that this could hurt you with female voters with these type of comments.
Well, let me say it again.
Sure.
The vice president is a candidate for president of the United States. I don't care about her gender. Neil, maybe you do, but I don't. I don't care about her race. I care about her
competence. Then why call her a ding-dong?
And I'm telling you what the polling shows. I'm telling you what the polling shows. Right. And it does. And I'll be glad to sit down with you and walk you through the polls.
Please do, because I never know when it's constructive to call people names, you know, Senator. I just, on the left or the right.
But I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings, but let me say it again.
Senator, you keep bringing it back to my feelings. My feelings matter a little. All I'm telling you is if you think you can gain this November calling people names, I don't know how far that goes, left or right, but we'll see. It's still early, to your point.
Your feelings seem to me like they matter to you a lot, Neil, and I'm trying to be objective here. Let me say it again.
Are you really being objective, Senator? I just think you've got a bash-a-thon, a name calling at her. If you call that being objective, I don't know. But, Senator, I do want to thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me, Neil. I hope you have a better day.
Yeah, so do I. Hope you have a better day. We'll have more.
Yeah, I mean, that Fox News host, by the end of that, was fed up with John Kennedy. And the Fox News host actually made pretty valid points. You don't really see that from Fox News all that often, saying, you know, do you not worry how this plays in the eyes of voters? Like calling her a ding-dong or bringing up her gender, her race. Like, do you not see how that could potentially backfire on the Republicans? And instead of saying, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should have the productive conversation on policy. John Kennedy doesn't do that. He doubles down. He says, well, you know what? The polls are saying this. What poll? What poll has polled the American people saying, do you think that Kamala Harris is, quote, a ding-dong or not? What poll is he citing? Oh, he's making it up. He's making it up to try to defend his awful attacks of Vice President Kamala Harris, saying, well, I have a poll that definitely backs us up, but that's not true, obviously. And even the Fox News host, again, is like, do you really think you're being objective? Like, what's productive? What's productive and objective about insulting the candidate? And then he, again, continues to double down on it. It's like, it's so remarkable to me that the Republican Party can't get it together. They just can't. They cannot. They're so far, their strategy is, oh, let's just go after Kamala Harris for who she is, her identity. You will not see any of these Republicans in swing states that are running for the Senate or the House, or even Donald Trump himself at his rallies, tell you and the other American people watching why Kamala Harris is bad on policy or why she shouldn't be president. He just says, well, she's far left and she's this or she's that, and that's why she shouldn't be president. Or John Kennedy, she's a ding-dong, that's why she shouldn't be president. Well, whereas Kamala Harris is out there saying, hey, you know what? I think I should be elected because I care about reproductive rights. I care about American manufacturing. I care about our investments in the future. I care about fighting climate change. I care about healthcare costs, things like that. She's laying out a future, a vision, right? A vision for the country. Whereas the Republicans are all the way stuck in the past. Donald Trump is still talking about the 2020 election. He's still talking about Joe Biden. He's still talking about Obama and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. It's just like he has no vision. There's no policy set forth. There's no, hey, this is what I want to do for the country. It's just Kamala Harris is far left, and Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton and the FBI were mean to me, so I think you should vote for me. And you're actually seeing this in the polls. As the Fox News host correctly pointed out, she's boosting in the polls. Kamala Harris is going up. She's rising and Donald Trump is falling. We actually have some brand new polling today showing this. And I don't think that this ding-dong attack is going to make Donald Trump's numbers go up any higher. Here's the first poll from Morning Consult. It is a poll of among 11,000, closer to 12,000 registered voters. And Kamala Harris is leading nationwide by 1 point. In previous polls with Joe Biden, he was down or tied with Donald Trump in this same poll when it came to the national election. Here's another poll from Angus Reid among 1,700 registered voters. Kamala Harris nationally is up by 2 points, beating Donald Trump. He's at 42%. She's at 44%. And what's interesting about this poll that we just looked at is that they asked specific questions about which candidate would be better at what. So dealing with crime, dealing with climate change, things like that. And this question really stuck out to me, saying, quote, who do you trust more to provide leadership and sound judgment for any crises that may arise during the next term of the presidency? And Kamala Harris is up by 2 at 45%. Donald Trump is down at 43%. And that quote, that question specifically interests me because that senator, John Kennedy, was in that interview saying that Kamala Harris or that the American people think she's a ding-dong. And yet that's not true. The American people elected her to be a vice president. She was elected in California to be a senator, a attorney general, a district attorney in San Francisco. And now she's beating your guy in the polls on a question on competency. So what poll is this guy citing? Because every other piece of data that we have right now shows that actually the American people trust Vice President Kamala Harris. They trust her leadership and her judgment. So John Kennedy can take that, pick it up, and take it all the way over there because it's not true. It doesn't exist. And it's just a really gross attack on Vice President Kamala Harris. The American people trust her, and she's leading Donald Trump in the polls right now, or at least gaining on him very rapidly in some of these polls. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this interview that John Kennedy had where he just lost it. He can't control himself any longer. And of course, that Fox News host actually did a very good job at pushing back on him. So I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It really goes such an incredibly long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all this. And as I always say, I appreciate you and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.